You're listening to Randy Rhodes on Premier Radio Networks.
It is Nicole Sandler, actually, of RadioOrNot.com, in for the vacationing Randy Rhodes. And it was just a few weeks ago, December 10th, that the collective nation was captivated by what was going on C-SPAN, because Bernie Sanders took to the floor and said this.
You can call what I'm doing today whatever you want. You can call it a filibuster. You can call it a very long speech. I'm not here to set any great records or to make a spectacle. I am simply here today to take as long as I can to explain to the American people the fact that we have got to do a lot better than this agreement provides.
And he went on for 8.5 hours and just made us love him even more. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont is with us now on the Randy Rhodes Show. Senator, it's always a pleasure and an honor to speak with you. Thanks so much for joining us during your vacation.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Nicole.
While I'm filling in for Randy, you were the one person I wanted to speak with for these during these 2 weeks because, you seem to be, I know you represent Vermont, but we feel like you represent all of us at a time when we wonder if our elected officials really listen to us. It seems like you're the one who is speaking out and saying the things that we fought so hard for in 2008 and you're the one, you're the one. So, first of all, thank you for your, not a filibuster, the filiberny that day. You had so many of us just so proud of you, and thank you for doing that. I know that couldn't have been an easy day for you.
Well, Nicole, thank you very much. But, I do want to disagree with you a little bit. There are some other good people in both the House and the Senate who put in incredibly long days and weeks fighting for working families and the middle class. And I think what happened on December 10th is I was able to be in a position by speaking for 8.5 hours to kind of capture a lot of media attention and raise a lot of issues that I think people are demanding that they be discussed and often are not. But there are other good people out there.
There are. Yeah, I agree with you. There are, but it's a handful. And honestly, you've been out front, and the fact that you took to the floor of the Senate on December 10th and did that is just a testament to the kind of leader you are and the kind of elected official you are. And it shows that you care. I do want to ask. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What I care about is that there are terrible things happening to the middle class in this country. The middle class is collapsing. Poverty is increasing. The gap between the very, very rich and everybody else is growing wider. And there are millions of people in this country who are wondering what our future is going to be about and what kind of lives our kids are going to live.
Yeah.
And they do want members of Congress to stand up and say enough is enough. We got to take on this greed that exists on Wall Street and throughout corporate America. We can do a lot better than we're currently doing. And we have got to have that discussion. And I think if there's anything that pleased me very much about the speech is the kind of response that it got. And that people said, yeah, we got to talk about these things.
Absolutely. So, and people tuned in. They were engaged. So they're hungering for this.
That's right. I think so.
Yeah. So, Senator Sanders, I want to talk about what the Congress can do coming in this coming year. But I can't let this go without asking you about a group of people who were ignored by this lame duck session, ignored in this tax cut deal that was so bad. And that's the 99ers. That's people who've exhausted all the help the government will give them, their unemployment benefits, and they can't find jobs. I know you care about them. What can we do to help these people?
Well, we've got to keep the issue in the public eye, and thank you for doing that. And as soon as Congress reconvenes, I will be fighting to extend unemployment benefits for those people. Nicole, here's the reality. The reality is that right now, not only is unemployment horrendously high, the official statistics, as you know, are 9.8%, but in reality, it's probably 15 or 16%. But furthermore, we have a record situation in terms of long-term unemployment. There are people now who have been unemployed for a very, very long period of time, more people than ever before. They cannot find jobs, and we cannot turn our backs on those people and allow their families to suffer, to lose their homes, not being able to feed their kids, etc. So we have to stay on this issue. That's what our humanity demands that we do, and I look forward to working with you and everybody else to make sure that we can extend unemployment benefits to that group.
I certainly hope so, Senator Sanders, and I know you will fight for it. But now let's talk reality, because what's coming in this new 112th Congress will be a Republican-led House of Representatives. Is there any chance that these people who were so quick to extend tax breaks for the wealthiest of Americans who don't need it will actually do something for the poorest Americans who are hurting?
The answer is, Nicole, that if millions of people stand up and say, just as you've said, what kind of priorities do you Republicans have that you want to give hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks to people who don't need it, but you're turning your back on working families who, through no fault of their own, have lost their jobs in the midst of this Wall Street recession? Now, I'll tell you a nice story, and it's interesting because there's a lesson to be learned here. In the last days of the lame duck session, we passed a bill providing health benefits to first responders at 9/11,
yep.
And to workers there who got sick as a result of trying to do what they can in cleaning up that disaster. Now, what was interesting to me is not only that we finally got around to doing the right thing, but it happened because the 9/11, the first responders themselves were on Capitol Hill challenging the Republicans, challenging right in their face and saying, yep. You guys talk about patriotism and you talk about 9/11 and all that stuff. We, the first responders, we put our lives on the line. We were there. We're getting sick, and now you're turning your backs on us. You know what happened? The Republicans caved.
You're right.
They caved.
Yep.
And the lesson there is if you stand up to these guys, and if large numbers of people get mobilized, then you could fight your way into the media, and sometimes that's hard, and make the case, they will cave. But unless we do that, you're right. The sledding will be very difficult.
You know, part of the problem is we're talking about the chronically unemployed, the 99ers who don't have the money to get to Washington, D.C. to stand on the steps of the Capitol. You know, and a lot of these people just feel so invisible right now. I put this website together, helpthe99ers.com, where people are posting their stories, and people who are in a position to maybe help are going there and finding them and connecting directly. But, you know, that's not enough. We need collectively as a society to do something for them, and it's hard to, you know.
It's hard. It is hard. And what we have got to do is to understand that it is not just as poignant and painful as it is for these people. They're not the only people hurting. You got young people leaving high school. You know what? They don't have any jobs. What kind of life do you have if after you leave school you can't find a job? What does that say about what's going on for the rest of your life? So what we have got to do, Nicole, is bring together people who are long-term unemployed, people who are short-term unemployed, the 50 million people who don't have any health insurance,
yes,
working people who are now working 2, 3, 4 jobs in order to pay the bills. Bring all of those folks and many more together and say, you know what, we can do a hell of a lot better for this country than we're currently doing. And we need to create that type of political movement which demands fundamental changes in national priorities. So you're not giving tax breaks to billionaires. You're not seeing the insurance company executives making huge salaries. You're not seeing Wall Street continue to rip off the American people in a dozen different ways. And that's, you know, I'm glad and I applaud you very much for the website and for your efforts. Because that's exactly what needs to happen.
I hear you. We also need a jobs program, but maybe we can talk about that
bottom line, no,
next
you're
time.
Absolutely right. You know, people,
30 seconds.
Absolutely, they can't be left out on the street without extended unemployment. But what's more important is that we create the jobs. And you know what? With an infrastructure collapsing, with roads, bridges, rail system, water systems.
Yep.
Believe me, we can create millions of jobs rebuilding America.
Bernie Sanders, sanders.senate.gov. Senator, Happy New Year. We love you. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking with you in the new year. Senator Bernie Sanders. Nicole in for Randy. We'll be right back.
Is the Randy Rhoads Show on the Premier Radio Networks.